In this episode we have the grand opening of our central storage system, and since it only requires 60 megawatts, basically everyone can build it. Yo, hello everybody, welcome back to Prone to Play and my Let's Play series of Satisfactory. In the last episode we began to build up our big massive storage center in the desert. And today we are actually going to finish this setup, and I was kind of busy in between episodes again. So I want to start out here in the refinement to give you a quick update of what has happened in between. So far of this setup nothing really has changed, apart from that the plastic and rubber that is getting produced in the very last two refineries gets merged and then fed down this line. Along the circuit boards, this setup was because I still have to clear out the storage container, which was completely full of circuit boards, but now that this is done, this can go as well, and it doesn't look that messy anymore. Okay, and now the output of the 3 assemblers for the circuit boards, or 4 assemblers even, goes now to the left instead of the right and is getting merged again with the plastic and rubber. And everything is eventually getting transported down this big bridge. So let's climb up here and see what we are dealing with. And here you can see the first main bus that leads everything to our storage center. Since this is the farthest production site away from the storage center, up until here this is only plastic, rubber and circuit boards. And here we actually have our second main bus, consisting of currently circuit boards and AI limiters. It should be 180 circuit boards and 12 AI limiters per minute. So around every 15 or so circuit boards, one AI limiter should arrive. And during the building process of the main bus, I already laid out in the last episode that I do not have the power output available at the moment to use train lines and train stations and so on, because they take up so much power. Each train station needs 50 megawatts, each freight platform another 50, and the locomotive itself consumes up to 110 megawatts. So there was no way that we could cover all this with all the building factories or factory buildings spaced out so much all around the desert. So this is why I decided to build 2 different main buses. And here actually you can see running 2 conveyor belts running alongside each other, and this is because the smart platings, the rotors and the reinforced iron plates are using the bridge from the second main line and then getting fed onto the first one, because this is simply shorter for the bridge in general. And then you can see here that the rotor, smart platings and reinforced iron plates getting merged with the stuff from the refinement. And let me speed this up a little bit, because here at our next station, this one has to clear out yet. I think the storage containers at the basic iron factory are completely full. One option, by the way, could be to move this closer to the factory, since this is very, very basic and easy to rebuild. But for now this is working, and as you can see here, everything aside from cable is getting fed down here and merged on the main bus. And the reason that I excluded cable will be explained in a minute once we arrive at the storage center. And from over there you can see our modular frames production getting merged on the main bus as well. The bridge itself is still very simplistic. It's just some foundations with autosave. Just some foundations with outer corner extensions of 4 meters built together, so it builds a round pillar. And this is because this is not the definitive solution for the transportation, because as soon as we have enough power, I am considering to build an actual train line and use trains, because this just looks cooler, and then we would have the necessary power available to do so. And here you can see everything. I think I have to rebuild this, because this should be more than... Yeah, I think this is more than 60 items per minute, but I think this is 50, 56, 70. I think from here on, yeah, I have to speed it up from here. And also upgrade the lift. Like this, like that. I have to do the math again in order to check whether or not this is sufficient now, but let's see. At least it's a little bit faster now and not backing up anymore. At least not as much as before. And yeah, now we already have quite a mixture on our main bus. And you already took a glimpse of our storage center. Because right there at the end of the desert you can see what I built in between episodes. This is the storage center in its current state. Once again, I tried to experiment a little bit. I tried to cut the rectangle shape and go with a little bit more... Whoops, I forgot to delete the road barriers. And to go with a little bit more smoother edges, smoother cuts. Right here I used half foundations in order to have a little bit more of a modern look, with glass, windows, and yeah, some sort of ventilation, with yeah, a more fashionable design at the same time. The roof is still empty, and I think I will let this be for the moment. In the inside nothing much has changed, but everything is encased now in steel walls on the sides and a very big hex frame window on the long side, splitted by painted beams, and yeah, big concrete pillars which we prepared already in the last episode. Every now and then a door is implemented, but other than that I have decided to not implement more in this room at the moment, because due to how the lifts look with these details and little light thingies on it, and the different colors and details that the storage containers themselves have. This room is actually fine the way it is, because I don't want to make it I don't want to overdo it with decoration and impressions in one room, so this is fine for now. The only thing that I have to think about is the roof, because it's pitch black, which absorbs completely the light and so on, so I want to think whether or not I have possibilities to change this. And you already saw that I have implemented another structure down under, and I opted to go with tilted walls again, and I have built it in this accordion style, let's call it that way, or inflatable bag, in order to again go away from these simple cubic rectangle simplistic styles. Still very simplistic, but at the same time it's something new for once. And at the bottom, because it didn't reach the ground, the uneven ground everywhere, I finished with double ramps and gave it another shape. This one was an experiment made in order to break up these smooth ramps again, or once more, but I decided that it's too much effort to go that much into detail, and only played around and experimented a little bit with the corners, with up corner ramps and down corner ramps. You can see it a little bit better when I go on the other edge, which is a little bit longer because the ground is deeper. And I actually forgot some over here. And this is basically how I did it. No, but yeah, you get the idea, and you can see that it's simply up corner ramps and down corner ramps. I wanted to have it a smooth surface at first, just like the long sides, but then I thought that this might look a little bit more interesting. So this is how it looks at the moment. And this room is still empty. And I think maybe I will put down a manufacturer or two, since we now have everything centralized in one spot. This is the perfect opportunity to bring together more parts which were completely separated until now. For example, for the heavy modular frames, we have screws. What's necessary again? Yeah, we have modular frames now here available, we have steel pipes, we have encased industrial beams, and we have screws as well. It's not nearly enough for the two heavy modular frames per minute consistently, but at least we can refill everything very easily now if we set up another temporary spot. And this is basically everything for the storage center. And there's only one thing left to add to the main bus. But first, I wanted to show that the other side, or the back side of the storage center, is completely empty at the moment. And this is why I decided that I think it's a good idea to put down our bases here again, so that we are again close by to all our parts and everything that's necessary. And also this leaves us with enough room for the space elevator for now. I only need wire and rods. I think the rods are in here. This should be screws and this should be wire. Let's do it like this for now. It's always a nice sight in my opinion. And this fills the empty space for now. Yeah, and as you can see, everything is eventually reaching our sorting line. And this one is another container whenever we need to drop something manually and let it sorted away, let it get sorted away. And at the moment, the storage center is way bigger than necessary. For example, we have parts getting sorted away up until here, which is why the smart splitters are color-coded. So I know that everything from the first main line or main bus is feeding the storage containers up until this point. And these are mostly empty at the moment, or completely empty. And then we have our second main bus coming from the other direction. And here the smart splitter system is turned around. Everything is running the other way. And since here are much less parts necessary to be sorted, because this main bus doesn't transport that many different parts, it's actually only everything from our Caterium factory and from our crystal oscillator building, which we will hook up in a minute together, so that you can see what happened at every other place as well. So currently you can only see the circuit quick wire arriving, as well as the AI limiters, and both storage containers are almost full, and everything that is creating an overflow will be sorted away, and the merging line or awesome sync line is divided as well into two different lines, so that we don't have a backlog here as well, or either. And these two awesome things are actually the only thing in this building at the moment that require power. So at the moment we only have 60 megawatts consumed in this storage center, which is why you would be able to rebuild it at any given state. I have to finish this edge I just noticed, but I will do as soon as possible. And yeah, wherever you are, and since this is not that complex of a structure, you can copy this or use it as an inspiration at any given point, or almost any given point, which is also another thing that I really like. Alright, so much for our current storage center. The only thing that's left to do for us at the moment is to hook this place up to the storage center. So for now I think I don't care. Let's cut the overflow away really quick. And turn. This was. I think this could have stayed. Another merger here, and now we only have to connect these. But I don't want to feed all the lines over there, so... Are these... Yes. They are exactly in line, so let's do... this maybe. Maybe here. How does this look? Yeah, I can adjust the heights of the lifts again and maybe even cut all this away eventually so that everything gets merged at the ceiling. But the center is still free. Let's see if we can make this look like it's connected to the wall above. But this might also block everything else. No, doesn't look like it. Okay. Reconfigure the smart splitters. And I have to transport the backed up items to the storage center. I think this is best done manually. And we have 18 quartz crystal here, 150 silica, 64 cable, and 4 crystal oscillators. So Mark III should be sufficient to transport everything in the correct speed. Okay, now it's completely backed. Okay, this is Mark III. Mark III. And this stuttering should clear out eventually. Alright. And this is what happened at every single building. Let's take one final look. And we are still below the 480 parts per minute, you can see, because there are still some gaps. Oh, haven't heard that one in a while. There's still some gaps on the conveyor belt, and Once the stuttering in the crystal oscillator building is gone, everything should run smoothly. Alright, and this is our storage center done for the moment. Now let me get the storage over there from the crystal oscillator building over here, so that we have cleaned this up as well. And then we will resume and think about what to do next. Alright, and back we are. It's daytime again. I waited until the nighttime passed by because it's easier to watch during daytime, at least in my opinion. And all the goods are still flowing in and getting backed up. I also rebuilt our base right here next to the space elevator in this open available space, since we are not using a train station or something similar over here yet, but we still want to maintain that space for the possibility in the future, which also means the pyramid in the very center of the desert is now completely empty, and I think I'm going to delete it again because, yeah, it's an eye catcher, but it's not really fitting the theme of this file, at least in my opinion, so I think it was worth an experiment, but yeah, it can go now, at least in my opinion. If you feel different, let me know. Now, I don't want to waste too much time with this, but I figured it is about time to do some more research again, and especially dive deeper into the Caterium research tree, because we now have some more stuff that lets us unlock more stuff around here. For example, we can now unlock the supercomputers, the Power Poles Mark III, and the bullet guidance system, and you can also see that I prepared rifle ammo beforehand for this researching, and the last two researches requests us to build more supercomputers, which we do not have right now because we are only about to unlock the recipe for it. But in order to do so, let me pick up some more AI limiters, high-speed connectors and computers. Okay, AI limiters, high-speed connectors and computers. I also already noticed that I have to label the containers, the backside of the containers also at the bottom, because I don't have to climb up here and pick out everything that's necessary. But at the same time, I cannot see what's in here from underneath without checking every single container. So yeah, maybe let me just walk in and let me see the displayed items. Okay, we still need computers, which we might be a little bit short on right now. And some circuit AI limiters. Let's see. Yeah, because we are not using the storage center to the full extent, there's also a big gap in the center with I don't know how many containers not in use, and everything is either stored on the very right side or on the very left side, which is quite uncomfortable if you want to move around and pick certain parts up. But maybe I am removing 3 containers in the very center and using this as an additional entrance point. And at the same time, I also want to label the containers from the backside, as already mentioned, so that we have easier access. Now, let's see. Caterium. Let's do the bullet guidance system first. And now we can build homing rifle ammo, which tracks targets automatically. I will build them. I think I will upgrade the existing ammo to homing guidance ammo was the name, I think. Homing rifle ammo. But yeah, you don't need to see me craft ammo at the moment. Next up, the power poles Mark III. And these actually like this. I'm missing rubber, damn it. Yeah, that's that's the trouble of the current status of this storage center. But I want to demonstrate, so give me a second please, and I apologize for the inconvenience, but this will be fixed in the next episode at last. Promised. Okay, it's this one. So you already saw, in order to build a power pole Mark III, you need 2 high-speed connectors, which is not that great, but you can see the difference, and the Mark I power line can take up to 4 cables or connections, Mark II can take 7, and Mark III can take 10. Which would be very chaotic to see, I think, and also we might be able to unlock the wall outlets Mark III now. Yes, we are. But at the same time, almost all of the time the Mark II is sufficient for me, and it only requires quick wire, which we have, I don't know, thousands, millions of. So I have not bothered, or I have never bothered with Mark III power poles while playing this game, because the Mark II is always sufficient while much easier at the same time. And now, last but not least, let's take a look at the supercomputers. And I think the 5 that I found from the crash site very early should be in here somewhere. No, I actually have them in my inventory. So they are basically flipped computers with another module added on top. And if we build a manufacturer, which we cannot do, but if we would build a manufacturer, we would see that we would need computers, AI limiters, high-speed connectors, and plastic for supercomputer. And currently we do not have computers automated, nor do we produce high-speed connectors automatically. And our plastic output is not nearly as sufficient, or not nearly as high as necessary if we would automate computers and then supercomputers. But trust me, when we are going to explore the world, we will dive into another location of this map around here, and everybody who is familiar with this game already knows what I'm talking about, where is loads of oil and where not only our power demands will be met in the very near future, but also we will produce loads of plastic and a little bit of rubber as well. And once we have that, we can first connect this outpost, let's call it outpost, with the main bases via train, because then we have the necessary amount of power. And second, build the computer and supercomputers automatically with the additional materials. And yeah, for the last 2, I think I will do this in between episodes as well, or at least prepare it so that I can show you the simple click, but there's no point in running back and forth now for something that we will not use anyways. But for this we will need quite some supercomputers as well. Now, here's nothing too crazy. Yeah, same here. I will prepare the completion for this as well. Same here, same here. Anything for the sulfur. We can complete this, we cannot this, nor this. Yeah, this is basically everything important for the research right now. So let's tick this off as well. And next up, I think I will set up a new temporary manufacturer for the heavy modular frames in the new room that we have built under the storage center. And I think I will also add an additional manufacturer for excuse me. I'm a little bit sick and my voice is cracking sometimes, so yeah, I have to focus. I will build a manufacturer for more heavy modular frames because we will eventually need loads of them. And all the necessary parts are flooding in at the moment. And I will add 2 more manufacturers for computer and high-speed connectors as well. We have gained a lot of coupons again, but what I wanted to check is the power consumption at the moment, because everything is getting transported over here and will be synced if necessary in a centralized way as well. We were able to cut down a lot of awesome sinks which use 30 megawatts of power each. So we were able to cut down the maximum consumption as well as the actual consumption quite an amount, so that we have another 750-ish of megawatts available to play with. So we are safe to set up 3 more manufacturers at least without having to worry about the power. So let me prepare everything for the setup of manufacturers and stuff, and then I will come back to you. Alright, that was actually way quicker than expected. But now we are in the airbag. And I also connected a double wall outlet to a power pole right next to our storage center. Now, without further delay, let's prepare some manufacturers, shall we? If we come in over there, then they should actually be fed from this side. I don't know how big this room is exactly, but let's start from about the center. Do 1 heavy modular frame, 1 computers, and 1 high-speed connectors. And this is 25 per minute. Circuit boards 3. Okay, so we even have access, or we still have access of circuit boards available, even if we would feed this in temporarily. I am thinking about how I can feed all the necessary parts into the input of these manufacturers automatically. But the problem I have now is I have not planned this beforehand, and now the problem is that most of the parts are on the right side of this storage center, but there is no logistics floor or something underneath it. And at the same time, if I would add another logistics floor, it would collide with this, natural arc from the desert. I don't have too much room to spare here. Maybe another 4 meters. Maybe there's a logistics floor possible, but this is not implemented yet. I think I will try to install this in between episodes, but I'm not sure if it works or not. So I guess you will find out in the next episode. But now let's see. I think I also do not have enough steel pipes, but that is no problem at all. Because in order to refill the manufacturers or fill the containers with all the necessary parts, I will have to run back and forth multiple times anyways. So with without worrying about cosmetics, let's connect everything. Let's get some more steel pipes really quick. Shouldn't take too long, because at least I can see them from the inside of the storage center. But I will also add display signs or labels on the inside as well, just because it makes things easier. I was hoping that the parts are able to see at the lifts also, kind of as a display. And while it is cool to see them running along the storage containers or in between, it's barely to... yeah, you're not really able to see what's in there without going very closely. And then you can see the displayed items anyways, so yeah, there's no real sense. But we need 8 more, 7 more containers. Hook everything up. Anything and over here we need screws as well, which are more than 60 per minute. And the rest can be transported by Mark 1. Alright. Now let me fill... actually, let me fill these up first, and then we connect them so they start all together. And everything connected and filled up. Now the only thing left to do is to hook these 3 manufacturers back up to power. And I'm actually quite short on screws at the moment, because usually they are not necessary for anything besides further processing in factories. But at the basic iron factory, at the start, I had a full container, and I actually had to drive there really quick because it has not emptied out at all, due to also the iron plates and iron rods being transported over here. But yeah, it's basically only a little bit more than 1 storage container of screws that I currently have. So if I plan to increase or automate the production for not high-speed connectors but computers, for example, or heavy modular frames, I definitely have to increase the screw output. But not now. Let's hook it up to power again. And all the materials flow in. And the manufacturers are starting again. And the first output should be visible any second. There is the high-speed connector. There we have computers again. And there we have heavy modular frames. Alright. Let's take it off. Even the original intention was a more permanent setup, but for now this has to do. And I have to figure out how to solve these demands in the future. And I think this is going to be it for today. And I'm still disputing what to do next and how long I want to wait for update 8, because in the last teaser or announcement, the devs published that the original intended update date was upcoming weekend, so May 8th or May 9th, I think it was. And they cannot hold this deadline because, updating to Unreal Engine 5 seems to be way more difficult than expected. But at the same time, there is no release date for update 8 at the moment. So I am not sure how long I still want to wait in the desert, because it will get boring eventually. And at the same time, we also want to progress further to start the my real goal as soon as possible after update 8. Just for anyone who has not seen the earlier episodes, this is basically just a practice file for me, and I want to unlock all the remaining tiers. Currently we have all tier 0 up to tier 6 completed with all the milestones, and also prepared all the necessary project parts in order to complete phase 3. So that would unlock us tier 7 and 8. But in order to process the parts that are about to be unlocked over there, we need to get additional resources that are not available in the desert yet. But since update 8 will include a very big overhaul of the map, I want to wait for update 8 and then go on to a world exploration tour, which is a hard drive hunt at the same time. Hunt down all the hard drives, go explore the new map and see what's new and how the new status will look. So I don't want to spoil all the new I don't want to run through the map I don't want to run through the whole world 2 times in the same file or in the same run through, because I don't want to go on a hard drive hunt because we want to have the alternate recipes, or we want to find additional resources that we need in the future. And then after update 8 the map overhaul kicks, and then we want to see, what's new, what's different, and then we have to go through the world all over again. And I think that would be kind of difficult, but now that the waiting time gets longer and longer, I think we at least will progress further and complete phase 3 in the next episode, and then we will consider what to do in the future, if we will wait longer or if we maybe see what's different and go check out certain areas twice and start with our exploration tour, or if I will be a little bit more patient and only go to very, very specific areas in order to progress further. But I have to think about this a little bit more in between episodes, and maybe even in the next few episodes. If you have any preparations, what do you want to see? If you don't mind maybe going twice through certain areas because you can then compare the differences or something, let me know. I would really appreciate the feedback and hear your opinion. But I think this is going to be it for today. Thank you very much again for watching, and I hope to see you in the next episode.